Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, reach out to me directly, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It's your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox property. Reach out to me directly, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. Today, we're discussing a 200-piece limited edition from 2015, built to celebrate 200 years since the birth of Glashütte watchmaking originator, founder, and patron saint F.A. Lange. This timepiece is the Lange Sohne 1815 200th Anniversary F.A. Lange. The homage watch, built in 200 pieces, is 39.9 millimeters in honey gold. When you turn it on its side, it is 9.2 millimeters thick by 46.9 millimeters lug-to-lug and 20 millimeters between the lugs. Throw it on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, and you can see it's a nice fit in every regard. It's very narrow across the wrist for a 40 millimeter watch, which makes it suitable for a wrist as small as 13 centimeters circumference. It's also flat, so it'll easily slide underneath the cuff, which is to be expected of a dress watch, and this is a great dress watch. A three-hand, no-date dial, beautifully balanced, elegant, and traditional. It has the 1815 dial with the vertically arrayed Arabic numerals. The timepiece is substantial, but not excessively so. You feel where the money went, but it's not an encumbrance. The strap is a sort of medium brown with a reddish tinge. You can see a folded edge, a monotone stitch, large rectangular scale alligator leather on the top, and calfskin on the bottom. And this is a brand new Lange Sohne factory strap. Their buckle has always been a fascinating piece, and since this is a honey gold watch, you get a honey gold buckle. A couple of features I like, other than the fact that it's an attractive and substantial pin buckle. You have this elevated bridge over the stanchions, so the strap actually sits inside the buckle rather than stacking up underneath it as it would without this elevation of the bridge. There's also a little bar in there, and you can see that bar is there. If you're like me and you have a small wrist, you're going to use the smallest hole, maybe even punch a smaller hole. Sometimes when you strap a watch down on a small wrist, it gets stuck because it's so tightly strapped. Well, that little bar prevents the watch from getting pinned on the pin, so to speak, making it easier to extricate from your wrist. Characteristic Lange case design, with the lugs stepped out from the case band and then the mid-case satin finish to contrast with both the lugs and the combination of the polished bezel and case back. So there's a nice contrast right there. The crown is branded a Lange Sohne. It's simple. The bezel is stepped back slightly from the case band. It has a vertical section and then a domed section. This is honey gold. I would describe it as a fusion of a light pink gold and yellow gold with maybe a little bit of white thrown in to soften it. It is a very unique look, and while it might not show on camera, it doesn't look like any other gold in person. The advantages are twofold. One, it's exclusive to Lange, and two, it's more scratch resistant than a standard 18 karat, so that is always welcome. The dial is not silver. It's more like an eggshell, and I mean that both in terms of the texture and the color. It's off-white, creamy, warmer than silver, almost a little bit like eggnog. Now you can see it also has a wonderful varnished surface that's slightly pebbly, like the surface of an orange, and it's not a simple flat flush matte silver dial like you'll find on a standard 1815. It has more character than that. There's a railroad track outboard for reading the minutes, and then you have alpha hands in matching honey gold at center with a small counterweighted lancet style seconds hand and a sunken sub-seconds. The dial base itself is sterling silver, so all this coating on the top belies the fact that this dial is precious metal, just like the case is. Underneath the case back, caliber L051, all of the traits you expect of Lange watchmaking. Let's talk about the specifications first. 23 joules, 5-position chronometer style adjustment. It is a 21.6 beat rate. It has stop seconds. It is free sprung for durability, and it has a 72-hour power reserve. Now, the finishing. You get that German silver metal that gives it the golden hue. It's nickel, copper, and zinc, with the copper responsible for the golden as opposed to silvered hue you would see on a Swiss watch that's rhodium plated. This is uncoated, and you see that copper mixed in, giving it the richness and the warmth. We have a freehand engraved a balance cock with a black polished set of case clamp screws, locating pegs that help to locate the 3/4 bridge, the cover for the escape wheel, and then a black polished swan's neck regulator. You can see that all the bridges have mirrored anglage. There is engine turning or prolage on the base plate. We have both black polished and fired blue screws, and those fired blue screws sit inside a 3/4 style plate, another nod to the pocket watch era, holding actual golden chatons. So this is a nod to the pocket watch era, as well as back in the 19th century. It wasn't always possible to precisely press jewels directly into bridges and plates. So they would be set in a chaton, and that would then be fixed into the bridge using screws. Is it technically audacious? Well, it's a little bit anachronistic and difficult to pull off well. It adds to the complexity of the watch without necessarily changing its function, although it adds miles of style and shows real respect for precedent, which after all is what Lange is about. 30 meters water resistant, so no, it's not a sports watch, but in every other regard, it's pretty close to the perfect dress watch. Reach out to tmosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.